Okay, 14, we should be good. Make sure your cameras are off for a moment till we get live.
Yes, sir. See, we already have questions.
All right. You guys ready to roll?
Yes.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Brian Terrian here from the Disability Digest. Sorry, I'm a moment late, but just spilt water all over me, but the show must go on. Welcome to our Wednesday YouTube Live with my teammates here, Miss Jam, Mr. Phillip. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, welcome. No Cassie again today. She had another day off, huh?
Sorry to disappoint. Maybe
Yeah.
sometime.
So, folks, today I'm going to cover a couple of key notes about your benefits, like how people are losing their benefits. And that's just going to take a few moments, although it's super important, but we'll give you some takeaways. But the main focus of today's event is to answer your questions that you have. And so that you have the information, you can kind of collaborate amongst each other to understand what you need to do to get your benefits and to maximize your benefits. So welcome and thanks for joining. The questions you can answer in the chat feature. If you're on Facebook, there's a chat option. If you're on YouTube as well. And some of the areas of questions that we commonly receive that may help you submit your question are eligibility questions like, do I qualify? Does my condition qualify? Why does it take so long? A lot of questions about that. How can I speed it up? And specific medical questions is something that we commonly get, like I've got a herniated disc, arthritis, tinnitus. Do I qualify? That type of stuff. And then lots of questions we receive about continuing disability reviews. You're welcome to submit those, how much money you can make, etc. So start firing the questions up. I see that there's some that are already coming in, huh, Jim?
Yeah.
All right. Two things I want to cover in advance is ways in which people can lose or actually are losing their Social Security benefits. And I say Social Security because this, the first one applies to Social Security disability recipients. So people ask, like, where can I live affordably on my $1,500 disability check? And that oftentimes makes people think creatively that they want to live outside the US. And so there's some considerations that you should have when you are going to do this, because one individual wrote in, had been living outside the US and got busted and lost his benefits. So if you're on Social Security disability, Now, keep in mind that this applies for disability recipients up until they reach full retirement age. When you reach full retirement age, you're just a Social Security recipient. You can live anywhere. But if you're a recipient for Social Security, you are expected to comply with the treatment requirements for your conditions by an approved doctor. So if you're living in Thailand or Mexico or the Philippines, you would need to figure a solution out for that. So one possible solution, if you're in Philippines and you're a veteran, then you could go to the VA there and have the treatment taken care of, and that would satisfy that. But if you're a civilian, then that wouldn't satisfy it. So that is one thing. And also the same applies for, I'll put this link, Jam and Philip, in the chat. This is the Social Security regulation that explains that if you're outside the US for, longer than a certain period of time, what the ramifications are. So that's one. If there's anybody here today that's living outside of the US and participating, love to hear from you. We won't call you out. You're anonymous here. So your destination is safe with us. All right. The next one is, actually, I'm going to turn my screen back on. Did anybody see the 60 Minutes media piece by Anderson Cooper about overpayments? If you did, I'd love to just hear a yes. So what is happening was a big enough news item to make it into the 60 Minutes media. And Anderson Cooper did this piece on the Social Security overpayment process and how it's causing problems for Social Security recipients. And you could be, again, a disability recipient, or you could be just a regular Social Security recipient. So I'm going to pull this over here. This is like kind of the replay of it, and we'll get you this at the end. But here's the short story. This is a common cause of people losing their benefits, and about 1 million notices go out a year to those that receive Social Security benefits, and the theme is generally something like, hey, we paid you for this period of time benefits that you were not entitled to, and we are asking that you repay X amount of dollars, typically within 30 days. And the amounts that are being requested to be repaid are significant, like $30,000 is like a very low amount. Oftentimes it's over $100,000. And most people that are Social Security recipients, they just don't have that. And oftentimes the biggest problem with this is their information is not accurate, meaning their information is Social Security's information. And the challenge that people have is they don't have the resources to hire an attorney to fight it. So it's a dual dynamic of bad information from Social Security and the lack of resources to fight it. So what do? Follow the information that we have here, ideally, so that you understand like how much money you can make and apply for disability benefits, how much money you can make and keep your disability benefits. It's totally fine to work, but most of these situations are caused by some type of work-related activity, right? So check that out. We will put the link in the chat for that will have two things. The link will have a video that I did that explains a little bit more in detail these, shows you the regulations. It will give you access to an interview that we did with attorney James Mitchell Brown, who is like an industry expert on overpayments. He's an attorney, so he understands how to help people that have these, teaches you how to avoid them. And then also a link to the replay from 60 Minutes, right? So that is number 2, and coming your way shortly, Jim and Philip, is this link. All right, so now let's focus on the questions that people have. And I have about 45 minutes today, so we can take as many as we can in that period of time. All right.
All right. I had a question, Brian, from a member this week. He asked if is withdrawing, is 401k withdrawal going to affect my SSDI application?
No is the short answer, because I wonder if the question is more like because that's income, Jam.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not earned income, so it wouldn't have a negative impact on your Social Security disability benefits. If you were applying for like social services like welfare or Medicaid, then it would, but not for Social Security disability. Social Security disability is like private insurance. You paid for it through your taxes that you pay, and you can obtain it by meeting the medical and work history criteria.
All right. I also had a question from another member. I am no longer working and I am 100% permanent and total disabled veteran. Do you know how long I have to wait until I apply for benefits? And will it matter if I've received Social Security in the past?
So it's not working now, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Well, happy belated Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Right.
Applying for disability is, there's no one size fits all answer. I'll give you some general. If you are not able to work or return to work, and you have that look in the mirror, a conversation with yourself in the mirror, and that's the deal, then you should apply for disability benefits. That's just my personal professional opinion after doing this for 17 years and and that. There is some strategy as to when to submit your application. For the most part, applying for disability benefits before you've been out of work for 5 or more months has a very low approval percentage, like 19%. Where if you wait until after 5 months, then that approval percentage goes up to 36% or higher. So that's one consideration of just planning when to apply. Of course, you highly recommend that you do it right, and you listen to the work that we've done with veterans about overcoming the 4 obstacles that veterans, even with 100% rating, face, so you can get approved.
Right. And lastly, I just got a written document with a fully favorable decision for SSDI, and I'm not sure what are my next steps. Am I going to receive retro pay?
Was it SSI?
SSDI.
SSDI.
Correct.
Well, it will, your retro pay will be determined by when you were found disabled, or your onset date. So if your onset date was, say, 12 months ago, and you received that letter now, the first 5 months that you're out of that are an elimination period. So you would take the 5 months from the 12 months, and you would end up with how many months, Jim? Was that 7?
I think.
12 minus 5. I'm going to go with 7.
Oh yeah, that's 7.
So then in this example, you'd have 7 months of back pay, and let's say your check is $2,000 a month, then you'd have $14,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
without
had a
knowing
follow-up
and seeing
question.
the award letter, it's difficult to confirm.
Mm-hmm. I had a follow-up question regarding that. Member asked, um, is it possible that they're just going to change their mind and end up not giving me the benefits?
Well, I mean, is that possible? Yeah, guess it's possible. I don't see it being likely, but it's possible. Yeah. Sometimes when that happens, is somebody's case will go through the local state agency where they're making the decision, and then they've made their decision, which you wouldn't be aware of. And then it's sent on for like a quality review, and then they change their decision. So I see somebody's like blasting some hearts in our chat. Katie, thank you.
All right. Okay, so questions from our live viewers. JG, if my disability paycheck amount was calculated based on the 35 top years earned, but I have not worked 35 years, so in calculation, there have been a lot of zeros used if I am able to start making some income while on disability below this to stand late gainful. Active active Vietnam, how would my paycheck be? Would my SSDI be recalculated with the new taxable amounts?
Um, this is a good question, and something like this was asked the other week, and I don't know. I don't have like a third party validation of my theory, but this is my theory, is that when you apply for disability, um, there is a wage freeze that's put in place. You can look it up. There's a video that we've done on it. It's called the wage freeze. And what that does is it puts a stop on your earnings record. It's like frozen where it is. So there isn't anything negative or positive that's going to happen to it, with the exception of a cost of living increase. So if you go back to work and you work more, as long as you're on disability and you're under the SGA, that is your amount. That's my understanding of it. So if somebody has a different experience out there, that there's something that nullifies the Social Security wage freeze, I'd love to hear from you.
All right. Here's from our Facebook. I've been on SSDI for 3 years now. I knew based on the original approval by the judge that a 3-year review would be done in December 31st of 2023. I received in October a one-page form front and back requesting for medical update. It stated if any additional documents or questions needed, they will be in contact. I filled it out and sent it. What happens next? I am 50 years old.
Could be nothing that they don't contact you, which is common. And if they do contact you, typically it's because they're going to request more information, which is not good news. So the general advice that we have been provided by others in the industry is to not it's just to leave it, not follow up and say, hey, how's my review? Because people have done that and they're like, oh yeah, shoot, we forgot to review this one. Oh, by the way, we have concerns. So if you don't, no news is good news on that. Here, how we can help you at the Disability Digest is we have a comprehensive how to prepare and survive your continuing disability review course. And on YouTube, if you type in the keyword CDR, you'll find segments of it. It's not the complete course. but it is some key segments. The complete course is available to members of the Disability Digest. When you join, it's by request. If you ask for it, we will enroll you in it. And we do that so we can manage the number of people that are going through the course and the questions that are related to it. Some people, unfortunately, need legal assistance, and so that there's enough kind of bandwidth to handle that. So, but yeah, just type in the keywords CDR. That's a good place to start on YouTube.
All right, here's from Delphine. Hello, everyone. I'm scheduled for a hearing on February 9th, wondering what kind of question they're going to ask.
Yeah, okay. So for questions at a hearing, what we have done here at the Disability Digest is we went through and listened to the audio files that we received on, it was like 42 different hearings, and listening to the questions that the judges asked to try to pinpoint the pattern and what was asked, and then of course what responses were not really good. So the result of that is it's been put into a segment of our how to prepare and get approved at your disability hearing, where you can go in and you can see the summary of all the questions that are asked, and the answers. So if you're not a member of the Disability Digest, we invite you to join. You'll learn more about this at the end. There's no charge for it. And there's no charge for the disability approval course that would allow you to have access to that. So you have the answers. It's like cheating on a test. I'm not saying anybody's ever done that, but.
All right, from Amanda on SSDI first payment in 2020 and turning 62, approval letter dated late 2019 and said my CDR is in 5 to 7 years. Is 5 to 7 from time of approval or first month of back pay? Do
Yeah,
people almost 62 get CDRs?
I'm not sure. I've heard it answered different ways by people that are like pretty respectful in the industry. I would plan on it being from the entitlement date or the date that you were found disabled. So if you look in your award letter, because this is worst case scenario, is it'll say on the top line, you were entitled to benefits on this date. Then below it, it'll say, we found you disabled in this date. I would plan on it being from the date that you were found disabled. But ultimately, the best thing, the advice that I can give is just do what you need to do day in, day out to make sure that you're preparing. And if you do all that you can do, then it doesn't really matter when it arrives, you'll be prepared. That's my take.
All right. From Greg Barney, I received an incorrect overpayment. The local Social Security office said they fixed it. That was in September. How long should it take payment process to fix it? My SSA account still shows wrong amount.
I don't know. I mean, this is a really an outlier of a question. I'm curious to learn more. Like, were they paying you more or less, or I just, again, I don't see patterns of these enough to have experience to give you an idea. Philip, anything going on your side over there?
Don't see anything yet. I just had one on there that was the same question Jam had about having a hearing Friday. Are there any tips on what to do or say?
Yeah. Friday is kind of short, but we can still get in, you know, and get you that. Your prep time once you're enrolled in the course for listening to that be like an hour. Basic, more would be better, but.
All right. From Inspired. Faith, 63 years old, applied in December 22. I've applied under MMD mental health and have been in ER 2 times. The stress and panic attacks caused a series of cycles, panic attacks, attack to shingles, IBS, diverticulitis. More of a statement.
Okay. You have to communicate to Social Security how all of those conditions that you have limit your ability to work. Like, for example, if you're in the hospital and you have an event, it takes you 3 days to recover from a stress related event. And that 3 days means that you're in bed with the shades pulled, you're not eating, just getting some, that type of stuff. So that's what needs to be communicated. It's not, the conditions are unfortunate, but for Social Security, it's really conditions being treated, limitations that are documented that prevent you from working.
Oh, I had a very interesting question yesterday, Brian, about eligibility. Conversation I had with a member. She asked about if she qualifies and can she apply when she turns 49. So she wasn't aware about the ages of eligibility for SSDI, and she was surprised yesterday that she could apply at the age of 48 because um, she only looked it up from the internet, and the information she found was you can only apply for SSDI at the age of 49.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. It's, one of the phrases that, I've used in the past is, if you're searching out there, you can very easily get like on a wild goose chase. And as a matter of fact, or watching videos, there's one guy out there, I won't name his name, who all he does every day, 5 days a week, is put out information about people are going to be getting new benefits, benefit increases, and it's just super confusing for people. So be careful of like your brother-in-law's friend who knew somebody who thought they applied for disability and did it really right, and all the other shenanigans that go on.
Yeah, just make sure you have reliable resources, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Question from Miguel. Can I apply for my Social Security retirement while I'm applying for SSDI?
All right. Miguel, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can, Miguel. And there's some considerations for doing that. Let's say that your early retirement is $1,500 at age 62. That's your monthly check. And your disability amount would be 2,000. So $500 difference, which is pretty common. They're about 40% difference. So when you apply for your disability benefits, when you get approved, then your check amount would go from $1,500 to $2,000. All good, and any back pay for the difference you would pick up. The consideration is that if you do not win your disability case, then you have selected the age 62 check of $500 more a month, $6,000 a year. So for $6,000 a year for every year for the rest of your life is what that decision would cost you. So make sure you have a good case. That's my advice. And do it right.
Here's the number one question, $1 million question.
All right.
Is there something I can do to make my process go faster? I applied in January of 2020. It's been stuck at 90% medical examinations since June of 22.
Probably somebody in Texas, Philip, isn't it?
You would be the big hero of the day if you can answer that question.
Oh, I can answer it, but I don't think I'm going to be a hero for answering it. Yeah, yeah. It is. There's a few things you can do, but it's the proverbial take a number and wait in line. Especially right now, there's still 1.4 million cases in the system, and Social Security has, as a matter of fact, they haven't updated their wait times for a decision like they typically have in prior years, because I don't believe they've been able to move the needle. So in your situation, here's a few steps. One, understand if everything is in your case file. And if you're using a disability representative, they'll be able to look into your case file and see that if you have 5 doctors, that all the medical records from the 5 doctors are in there. If anybody's in the application process, I hope you make note of this. It'll make a big difference for you. So one, make sure that the doctors are in there. Any other evidence, like evidence that you have doctor's support forms, residual functional capacity report forms, any other letters from third party, like prior employers, personal references, any digital stuff you put in there, like videos, all the stuff that we teach you how to do to get approved in the disability approval course. Make sure that everything is in there and it's accounted for. And if you're not using a disability representative, then it's up to you to be able to get in touch with your caseworker at Social Security and make sure it's all in there. Here's why that's step number 1. Because you speed up a process and push for a decision with other steps and your case file is not complete, then they'll make a decision based on what's in there. And it may not be what you want. So how do you speed it up? A few things. The most effective thing to do is to use the strategy that we have on this channel and to our members. Contact your representative, a local congressman. Explain your situation. If you have any hardship related issues, like I'm not able to pay for housing, food, if you've got young children or car payments or anything like that, then express that and how it is like detrimental to you. Oftentimes healthcare, not able to afford it. Use the directions that we have here that we provided in another live event, and how to use the chat GPT by creating a nice letter that goes into your congressman to ask to have your case looked at. And the general theme would be, hi, this is Bob Jones. I applied for disability on this date. I'm not able to work for these reasons. I'm treated for these conditions, and my decision has exceeded the time frame. That's what you will learn from that. Jim, I don't know if it's possible for you to find in the content directory the segment for that we did to use AI to
sure,
draft letters and put that in the chat. So that's the best that you can do right now. You can also contact your caseworker directly and just simply be polite and persistent by saying, is there anything else, excuse me, that you would need, or anything else that I could help with to help you make a decision? Now, if you're using a disability representative, they should do this work for you. Wow, that was a mouthful. But I wanted to make sure that I know a lot of people are out there waiting, and it's just really tough for them. So I'm in hopes that you go use this strategy and you report back to us the results.
Okay.
All right.
Brian, go Phil.
Is there a number I can call to find out when my back pay deposit will be made?
There are Social Security has a list of payment centers and the phone numbers. So how the money flows. I should do an actual like how the money flows segment. When your case gets approved, if it's initial or reconsideration, it will go from the local office that was handling your case to a payment center. I'm going to come back to the payment center in a minute. And then if it's a hearing level case, you've gone to court, then once the judge makes the decision and the letter's sent out, it goes from that office to a payment center. And depending on where you're located in the US and your last 4 digits in your Social Security number will determine what number that you call. So there's a lot of variables. So for you, and to get that number, the answer is yes, there is one. But to get that number would call whoever has been working on your case. Local office, the hearing office, or disability representative.
All right, here's one from Wisdom Happy. I just won my case. I am told this year owe me 1,377 and 33 cents per month, but they can decide to pay me less, as in $1,054. Why can they cheat what you're owned by standard sheet?
Based on that information, I don't know. I mean, your disability check is published in your online account before you even apply. So maybe there's an offset, which could be from like workers' compensation, or maybe they paid you SSI, like welfare, or maybe there was an overpayment. Any of those could be offsets. Based on the information you provided, it's tough for me to like pinpoint which, if it's one of those or something else.
All right. How long does it take to move from steps 3 of 5 after hearing?
Step 3 of 5. I don't understand the steps 3 of 5 after hearing. So could you be more specific? Like, have you been to a hearing?
All right.
Here's a
No follow-up
100%
yet.
PNP disabled vet. Applied for SSDI before and got denied. I tried to appeal it and missed a couple of court dates because I moved out of state and could not afford to go there for court or get a lawyer. So they canceled everything. Now when I go to SSA website and log into my account, it says I am no longer eligible for SSDI. What does that really mean?
It could mean that your work credits or your Social Security eligibility has expired, which would be unfortunate. So if you when you stop work, like somebody stopped working today, your eligibility for Social Security is about 5 years that you have to apply and get approved. So, like in your situation, if you went through the process once, the cycle takes about 3 years. Then you did it again, which you started your second case in year 4, which was before the 5 years of expiration. But you didn't get approved on that one. So now it could very well be that your benefits have expired, and you would no longer be eligible.
Is that what they call DLI?
DLI, date last insured, Philip. Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I have for today.
All right.
All right. I have some more. 100% disabled veteran. I am 47 years old. I applied last year at my doc's. I got denied serious rare heart condition and 50% PTSD anxiety. I hired an attorney for appeal. They started a medical review in September 27.
Okay, good luck.
My question is, my cardiologist offered to do a letter of support. What should be in it?
The letter of support, the best one would be forms that Social Security recognizes that are called residual functional capacity report forms. The disability approval course that we have, and you have access to those, how to get them, print them off, bring them to your doctors. So if you would like to join us as a member, you would get access to that. That's the best. If a doctor writes a freelance letter, they don't typically provide information that's going to be of significant value to your case because they don't understand, although some think they do, the disability approval process.
All right. I have applied for SSDI. I am waiting on forms from SSA regarding how my condition affects my daily living. Is there a way I can get this from online to get a head start on filling them out?
Yeah, you can go out on the internet and you can type in SSA adult living questionnaire. It's 3373. And there's going to be another form that will come with that, which is yeah, it's SSA 3373. I'll put the link in the chat for Jam. And in the disability approval course that we have, I did an interview with attorney Carl Osterhow, who was very gracious of helping us out. And he walks you through like exactly what to say and do and how to answer each question. So that is a resource that is available to you. Okay, I don't think I did that right. Let me try it again. Jam, this link has got the Chrome extension on it. If you would like peel that off, or maybe I can do it.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, investing the time in these is really important because these are critical forms, and just taking like a wild ass guess is not recommended.
All right. Shall we continue with the rest of the questions?
Yes.
All right. Here's one from Katie. 13 days until my telephone hearing. If I get 2 years back pay, do I get the raises for 2 years that were given to everyone on SSDI, or do I get the amount that was last on the SSA site before I first applied?
They will show you in your award letter the COLA increase, or they do commonly, especially if you go to a hearing. So the answer to that is yes.
All right. Good luck, by the way, Katie.
Yes, go Katie.
Here's one from Carl, just an FYI. Applied for SSDI in April 2023. According to Social Security website, 63% processed. I went in and applied with attorney representation. I am in Florida.
Is there a question there, Jam?
Statement.
All right.
Good luck, Carl. All right. Is there a maximum amount of months that they will pay back pay?
12.
12. Yes.
So yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's a question from the Yolanda. They made an error on my payments that caused me to be behind on my rent when I had no work. Are there any true solutions to help me keep my housing as I go back to work to prevent homelessness on disability with restrictions? I was under the impression that the most I could get is what I receive. So how do it increase or is it untrue? What jobs do they provide to someone on disability who have interest in helping others who are on disability and struggling to live a normal life?
Yeah. Well, there's certainly plenty of work to do in that category. So, what is the real question there? Is it like how much I can make and still like keep my benefits?
For 2023, if you're
Well,
on
no,
disability and want,
pardon me, Jim, but my question to you is that the real question that's being asked?
oh, yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So is this person just on Social Security or also like dual eligible?
I don't, I don't know.
Uh,
Not
I'll, I'll,
stated.
I'll address it both ways. If you're a Social Security disability recipient, then you can earn up to $1,050 a month, every month, and have zero impact on your benefits. That's the law. You can search on our YouTube channel for how much money you can make and find that or ask us. But make sure you read the regulation and understand it yourself. Just don't listen to me. And if you're on Social Security and also like on Medicaid, then extra income could impact your Medicaid benefits. So I would encourage you to contact your state Medicaid office and just pose the question. If I was to consistently earn an extra, whatever, $400 or $500 a month, for example, how would that impact my eligibility?
All right. From Bori, question: at 61 years old, do you still get CDRs done? It's been 3 years and no CDR. I'm in Florida. Do they do CDRs on younger people and not my age?
You can technically receive them all the way up until your full retirement age, but the understanding that I have from others is that the older you are and closer to full retirement age, the lower the probability. However, it's like 3 months-ish ago on our YouTube channel, there was a 64-year-old that had been reviewed, and she was also reviewed like, say, 2 years prior. So it does happen. It's just really difficult to predict, when, who. We know 20% of disability recipients are on average getting reviewed annually. So
All right. Um, Here's one from Jeffrey. Hi, Justin. Then I'm 58 and believe I have a case for SSDI since I get paid weekly and months we get paid 5 times, 5 Fridays. It puts me over the income threshold. I believe that disqualifies me.
well, it could, yeah, but there's some other things that need to be that could be discussed there. Let's say that the income threshold is $1,470 a month, and you're earning $1,500 a month, so you're over. But are there any workplace expenses that you have, like anything that you need that will help you or is necessary for you to do your job. Could be anything from an emotional support dog to accessory tools to whatever it is. Any expenses required for you to do it. And if there are, then those should be written down to reduce your income amount because it's necessary, and it's like workplace accommodations. There's a whole regulation on this. So that's one. Two is, are there any special accommodations? Like, are they allowing you to come in later, leave earlier? Maybe they've changed jobs for you, your workplace. And if so, then that could be taken into consideration. So, yeah, okay, you're earning over, but there's some other things that may be able to reduce that income. That's what I'm saying.
All right. I received my award letter in early September 2023. It stated that I was found unable to work since March of 2020, and I was approved in September of 2023. Am I entitled to any back pay or retroactive pay?
So it was March of 2022, is that right?
March of 2020, found
March of,
unable to work.
okay. So if it's March of 2020 and you were not able to work and you could prove that for March of 2020, then your back benefits would start 5 months after March, which would be what, August? So in August of 2020 is when your back benefits could have started. Now, there's some other factors there, would depend on when you applied. If you applied within the 12 months after August of 2020, then you would be able to go back that far, but you can only go back 12 months. So if you applied like in December of 2021, then you would have applied beyond the 12-month mark. So some general parameters there, but hopefully you get a pile of back benefits.
All right, from Brenda Noel, 62 years old, filed early, SSD approved. Should I apply for disability, or is this disability already? Thank you for all that you do.
I want to make sure I get the question. Does somebody applied for SSD and got approved?
Mm,
What was the first part?
I think she filed for early retirement and then got approved for SSDI.
Well, let's put it this way. If you haven't applied for your Social Security disability benefits and you've applied for some other benefits like early retirement or veterans or California state disability or something like that, then you can apply for your Social Security disability benefits. Perhaps that'll help.
All right. Yeah. I was on disability for 19 years and lost my check April of 22. The SSA sent me a letter saying I was no longer disabled without sending me to a psychiatrist. Statement.
Well, you had the opportunity to appeal that. I don't know if you did or didn't, but that unfortunately happens. Yep. Two more questions. Gotta
All right.
maybe
Okay.
10.
From JD, I'm legally blind. Can I keep a job if I stay under SGA 2,500, or do I have to stay under $1,000 so not to raise a time work period red flag? Do they treat the blind differently in court? I can use WellCare transportation to get to work, but if they take away benefits, I lose my job.
Right. There is a different regulation for those that are visually impaired, and how much money you can make. And I would just search our YouTube channel, watch the video on how much money you can make. I mean, if you wanted to be ultra conservative, you could definitely keep it you know, around the $1,000 level. And frankly, I don't know of anybody that is visually impaired on Social Security disability that has earnings anywhere like in that range. So from experience, I don't know of anybody. From regulation, it says you can. All right. Philip, any last questions over there on your side?
Edward asked, what if you are awarded both SSI and SSDI? He was awarded both. I asked him to elaborate a little more because I don't understand the question. Or is
Well,
there?
there's some advantages to that if you're awarded both. One big one is you have access to, in my opinion, some of the best, if not the best, Medicare benefit packages that are out there. That not only cover your doctors, your medications, hospitals, all of that, but they oftentimes have very good dental, hearing, vision benefits, like thousands of dollars a year. And they also have, commonly now, have what's called a flex card. So we just worked with somebody in Ohio who was dual eligible, and we found a solution for her that allowed her to see all of her doctors, and had, Jam, did you and I work on this one? I forget how much dental it was, but there was like $2,300 a year in flex card that you could use for food, pay your utilities. So that dual eligibility is quite valuable, actually.
All right.
One more,
Can
Jam.
I? Okay. Um, Sorry, I kind of lost the question. Give me just 1 second. All right. From Kenneth Glover, I'm asking for a fellow veteran who receives SSDI. Can he move to Thailand and still collect?
Yes, well, we covered that earlier, and I would
Mm,
encourage you to check out the link about living abroad and meeting the medical treatments and how long you can be out of the country and still receive. I was visiting Jam and some others who reside in the Philippines, and I met lots of expats that were on disability over there. And they'd been doing it for a while. So they've figured out the treatment piece. And that's just something that you need to make sure that you are aware of and get that taken care of up until you are like retirement age. Yep. Good. Listen, folks, I'm out of time for today. This has been good. I got a really good workout answering all these questions. So I hope you found value in this. I see there's 353 people out there on YouTube. Wonderful. And Facebook and everywhere else out there. Thank you for joining. Jam, Philip, many thanks to you for your participation and assistance in today's event. Shout out to Jim and Philip, everybody.
sure, Brian.
So
Thank
listen, appreciate your comments. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. And we can best help people that are new, or if we haven't heard from in a while. If you join us as a member at the Disability Digest. And the reason for that is we do these events every week, and there is over 1,000 videos that we've done, and you're welcome to go through and search through all of those. But if you join us as a member, which I'm going to put up on my screen here, then by completing a profile, you get access to a customized approach. I'm trying to share my screen here. And it's just as simple as clicking this green button right here and coming in and answering a few questions. And then that helps us understand where you're at in the process. Maybe you're just starting, you haven't applied, you're working full time, you're approved, and what concerns you have. Then we can get you the right information. We can streamline it, and the right support groups, and invite you to the right events to help you maximize your benefits and get all that you're entitled to. So the disabilitydigest.com, and those of you that had questions about waiting for a hearing or other parts of the approval process, when you join us, you can get access to a disability approval course that you can use. There's no charge for that either. It's broken down into segments to help you maximize your chances of getting approved. Or if you're already approved, we have courses for like how to review your benefits, make sure you're getting all you're entitled to. So